Hello, Nick from Shop Blast, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make a canvas for painting on. And yeah, I recorded this definitely the same day that I finished it. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pick out how big you want your canvas to be. So I want it to go here, so I'm going to measure out what I think is going to look the best. Okay. Alright. I'm going to go with 5 feet by 4 feet for my canvas. So the very first thing I'm going to do is sort through my lumber and find the straightest ones to use as the outside frame pieces. Once I find those, I'm going to take one of the lesser straight pieces and cut off 2 little blocks using the 22.5 degree slot on my little miter jig here. That way I can use those 2 little blocks to hold my outer frame pieces at 22 degrees while I cut the ends to 45. Now what I'm going to do is measure all of my outside pieces to size and then cut them at 45 degree angles, again using those spacer blocks to hold them at a 22.5 degree angle while I cut the 45. It's important too to keep track of the direction that your outside frame pieces are sitting at when you're cutting them. Otherwise you could accidentally, cut the corner on the opposite end and therefore it's not going to fit. So what I did to make mine correct is I wanted the face of the frame to be 4 by 5 feet exactly. So I cut that inner edge at 4 feet or 5 feet depending on the piece I was cutting. But just keep track of the direction that you're holding your pieces and just make sure that it's all going to match up evenly. Now that our outside frame pieces are cut, we can assemble them. But the best trick I found is to just with your hands hold them in place exactly how you want them so that they're perfectly flush with each other. And then to take a drill bit and to pre-drill a hole for your screw to go into. This way when you apply the glue and screw it together, the screw already knows where to go and it's going to just line up perfectly. And again, I would highly suggest using glue. It's just going to add strength and rigidity to the canvas, which is what you want when you're making one of these frames. Now that our main frame is done, we can cut our support pieces. One thing to note when you're cutting these is to assemble it with the support pieces being flush with the back of the canvas and not the front. If they're flush with the front of the canvas, when you're painting, it's going to apply pressure to the actual material of the canvas and might show where those support pieces are, so it's best to leave some distance away from the support pieces where the canvas is going to be. So mount them flush to the back and not the front of the canvas. And again, you need to remember to cut those support pieces at 22.5 degrees to match up with the frame and how it sits. But besides that, you're basically just going to measure it out, space out all your supporting pieces equally, and make sure you're cutting the pieces at 22.5 degrees that are going to be meeting with the outside frame. Alright, now that your frame is assembled, we can start stretching the canvas. So what I did is I just laid the canvas out face down on my floor, making sure that my floor was clean, of course. And I laid the frame over top of it, cutting it so I have a lot of excess to grab onto to make sure I'm pulling the canvas tight. When it comes to stretching the canvas, the best way to do this is to work from the center out. So start on the center of opposing sides, get it tight, and do the same thing the opposite side, and just keep working a couple inches out at a time, making your way around the entire canvas. And you'll notice as you start to get closer to the corners that it's going to have some wrinkles and stretch, and that's good. That's showing that you've stretched the canvas enough. And then from there, you're going to kind of fold the corners, working the canvas in, making it lay flat so it looks nice and clean. And then when you're done with that, you can trim the excess and you're done. Perfect.